Hello and welcome back to Star Conflict Tutorials. We'll continue our series of tutorials dedicated to various ship roles in the game. This time around we're going to tackle recon ships. So this is what you should know when playing a recon class. First and foremost, of course, is the micro-warp ability, which you should learn to use above all else. Micro-warping is not simply about jumping back and forth one spot to another. You need to learn how to get where you want and fast. A successful jump might equal to a captured beacon, an artifact, a slain opponent, and even a saved ally. Try to practice this skill when going against bots first. Pick a target and try to jump as close as possible to it. The trick is to stop the jump at the right time, before you actually reach the desired destination and travel the rest of the distance by the force of inertia, steering with your mouse. One of the next most important factors of success: build your ship right. Every interceptor has room for an emergency barrier and a proton wall. Otherwise, the Federation and the Empire have two radically different approaches towards their interceptors, since both of these factions need to compensate for their inherent flaws. The former are just too fragile, while the latter are slow and unwieldy. A recon ship of the Federation will benefit greatly from some adaptive shields and modules that can improve the toughness of its hull. Good news is, the Federation's high-level recon ships have several capacitor slots. One can be occupied by an emergency barrier, while the second can be used for a power unit conduit, which will bolster your speed beyond the already stellar limit. But improving your damage output will go a long way too. An iridium heatsink is a good option for this, and if the energy allows, a pulse discharger. The Empire is on a different end of the spectrum. No matter how much you desire to improve your hull, you better forget about that galvanized armor at low levels. An Imperial recon ship is not that swift as it is, and once you install that galvanized armor, it will become a sitting duck. Your best bet is to install a few damage modules providing damage resistance and regenerative coating, because if you do, you won't have to waste time repairing your hull for the majority of the battle. The engine slots are best used for a maximum possible number of vernier engines. Trust me, early on you will sorely miss that much required maneuverability. Now, a few words about your missile slots. The all-time favorite here would be slowing missiles. They slow down your enemies in a small radius and remove adaptive shields to boot, so you can slaughter your opponents much easier. Totally recommend it. Okay, on to combat modules, their pros and cons. Enter the parasitic remodulator. Once activated, it transfers the shields from your target onto you. This is a solid combat module and a double-edged blade in a good sense of the word, since you can drain the shields of any interceptor or fighter in just a few short seconds. On the other hand, it can also act as a makeshift defensive module by quickly restoring your shields in combat. But alas, the remodulator has a mighty flaw. Once used, your capacitor will be drained almost instantly, leaving you no option to just afterburn it out of there. If you fly an Imperial recon ship, it adds another troublesome issue: rather weak shields, which are easy to punch through without your capacitor being drained like crazy. So, as a result, this module can be more beneficial for a recon ship of the Federation. Next module is called Holograms. It creates a clone of your ship that closely follows you and will engage the enemies on sight. But it deals no damage. In theory, it serves to distract your opponents, but in reality, it's a bit more tricky than that. First of all, your hologram is very weak. It is poor at dodging incoming fire, while an enemy recon ship might kill your dummy outright using one of its modules. Secondly, an experienced pilot can tell the hologram from the real deal with one glance, since it does not maneuver in battle as actively as a human would. In our opinion, there are modules that can serve you much better than this one. Let's take a look at the Phase Modulator, for example. It renders your ship completely invisible for 5 seconds. Yes, the module is very power hungry, but it can be activated even when your capacitor is fully depleted. It is perfect for escaping enemy fire or to avoid slowing debuffs targeted at you. This module has yet one more useful ability. Once you're rendered invisible, you can use your weapons for 2 more seconds, meaning that your Phase Modulator can be used on the attack as well. If you play your cards right, you will be able to fool your enemies. Overall, this is a perfect choice for any recon ship. As to the actual battlefield reconnaissance, there are 2 modules on offer: a spy drones container and a micro-locator. The spy bots render the target invisible to all ships and slow down its shields and hull regen 2 times, but the bots themselves are easy to get rid of. All the target has to do is scrape its hull against any obstacle, so these are best used in open space. They are especially effective if your enemy has been damaged. In such a state, it won't risk scraping an asteroid, as it can simply kill him outright. The micro-locator allows you to combat the enemy's stealth ships, but it operates in a different fashion. Once set up, it scans the enemies in a certain radius and disallows them from going stealth. Even if the enemy has no stealth ships per se, you can set up the locator in some hotspot and get points simply for debuffing your foes. But if there's some sneaky ships out there, it gets progressively trickier. Do not use this module in a hurry. Your enemy might shoot it down or simply avoid its area of effect to enter stealth elsewhere. Best wait for the enemy to activate it and then use the locator. The most universal setup would look something like this: a repair kit, phase modulator, spy bots, and either a micro locator or a parasitic remodulator. A few words about game modes where your recon ship can be at its most effective. These are domination and detonation. Here, your strongest traits are evident: high mobility and huge radar coverage. Finally, here are a few words about tactics. Always attack your enemies with your allies. Deploy your spy bots and slow the opposition down with missiles at the same time. This is how you hit. You run by using your micro warp and phase modulator. In detonation game mode, the recon must capture the first bomb and then proceed to hunt down the enemy bomb carriers. That's it for today. See you in space.